I was about to fly from London to the Dominican Republic, and of course, left a bunch of things to wrap up at the last minute. Because why do your tasks now when you can do it last minute? So on Monday morning, I had meetings and then had to take care of some bureaucratic stuff at the bank. I knew I wasn't gonna be back in London for at least like 4 to 5 months, so it's pretty important to get everything done before I fly back to the Caribbean. Thankfully, lovely people over at HSBC came to the rescue, and they helped me get everything done very quickly. I was about to fly to Punta Cana directly the following day, but I forgot a very important point. It's November, it's Punta Cana, everybody's flying to Punta Cana now, which of course resulted in very long waits to get into the country. Plus, I'd have to have a 2.5-hour ride to Santo Domingo. Even though I'm a massive hater of layovers, I've decided to just fly to Santo Domingo via Madrid. Normally, I'd spend a few days in the city and then board the next flight, check out the city and chill out for a little bit. But because I've been traveling excessively the weeks prior, I just decided to do a London to Santo Domingo flight with a layover in Madrid. This normally would not be a problem, but I had to get to Heathrow at like 3 a.m. and it's about an hour ride from Canary Wharf, so I'd have to wake up at like midnight. And the next time I slept was in Santo Domingo. I initially booked a business class ticket for one of my flights, but then I remembered that I'm flying with a certain British airline, and I don't know if you know this, but their business class is almost exactly the same as coach. I've heard people praising their business class, but I'm thinking they're probably paid to do it. So in a rare moment of financial responsibility, I made a huge mistake and I chose economy. This actually resulted in being seated in front of a family with a kid that would not stop coughing all over me and the fellow passenger seated next to me. So I arrived at a DR and immediately started gradually getting sick. And then I realized there usually aren't any kids in the business class, which means that being financially responsible with the economy ticket costs me more money because a sick person has a lower productivity and bills less consulting hours. The lesson is, don't be a cheapskate. But was the trip worth it? 100% it was. It also felt awesome knowing that I'll be staying in the country for several months without flying across continents. If you don't count New York as a cross-continental trip, but that's a 3-hour ride, and that's lightweight. As we're about to land in the DR, tropical music started playing on the plane, as it always does, and I love it. I'm not using the actual music for legal reasons, but you can enjoy this copyright-free tropical music. Oh, and people always start clapping upon landing, which I also love. The claps are copyright-free, for now. So now I'm finally back in the Dominican Republic. I'll be spending time mostly in Distrito Nacional in Punta Cana, and I'll check out Casa de Campo as well. I'll be releasing 3 more videos in the next 30 days in this series about the Dominican Republic. I'll cover 3 different topics, and I'll keep the topics secret. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch the videos. But in this video, I want to talk a bit about why so many people are investing into the country and moving here. Last video included a lot of things, but I talked about the food a lot. And if you haven't been to the DR yet, I can understand why that could be a bit weird. But when you come and try the food, don't worry, you'll understand why I talk about the food here so much. And you better believe that I'll be posting more content about gastronomy in the country. There's so many amazing places to eat here. Now, why do people come here and why do people invest? Obviously, people come for very different reasons, but focusing on the economy, we can explain the trends that are taking place. Fact is, the Dominican Republic's economy is booming, and it's only getting started. GDP annual growth in the Dominican Republic averaged 5.35% from 1992 until 2022. And 5.35% each year for 30 years quickly adds up. When you come here, you can see there is poverty, but you also see the direction which the country's headed. The DR is developing rapidly, and it has been the fastest growing economy in Latin America and the Caribbean since 2010. And more growth brings more investment. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The DR is a free democracy today with a relatively stable political climate. And it's always important to stress what relatively stable means. If you look at the UK right now, is the UK politically stable? The infrastructure for investors is hard to match when you look at vast areas of the country having beyond first world infrastructure, which wealthy investors, expats, and local upper class can enjoy. Now, I'm not trying to paint a picture of a wealthy country. What I am saying is that I can see how more and more people will rise out of poverty into the middle class and upper middle class in the coming decades. For so many other countries, things are going in the opposite direction. This infrastructure, paired with political stability, allows the flow in investments to come into the country, and people keep coming. Why do I personally think it's a great place to live, at least part-time? There's so many reasons. First of all, the proximity to the United States. You can be in Miami in 90 minutes from the DR. You can be in New York City about 3 hours. The country is very well connected. You also get to enjoy great weather year-round, especially November through April. Some of the best beaches in the world are here in the Dominican Republic. The country is filled with numerous top-notch golf courses and communities for successful business owners, artists, and politicians to congregate and enjoy life. And that's what the Dominican Republic offers to expats, the ability to take a step back and enjoy the moment. I run a marketing company, so I'm location independent. I get to decide where and when I work. So being in the DR gives me a perfect mix of relaxation, chillness, fun things to do, places to check out, and the infrastructure I need to get work done. And if you're considering moving abroad or at least being able to work and live wherever you want, you might consider starting a career in marketing. So my trifecta living model obviously includes 3 countries that I live in throughout the year, and I believe that Dominican Republic is an absolute must to include on the list. In the last video about the DR, I did mention that it's a land of inequality, but I have to say that the top end of that inequality, in many ways, is not matched anywhere else in the world. And I do believe the country will gradually be able to lift people out of poverty into the world of first world infrastructure for the country as a whole, and you can see it happening in real time. Until the next video, keep working on your vision and stay aggressively patient.